speaker series, and today's topic is apprenticeships, building the IT cyber talent pipeline for Arizona companies. We have some great experts on today that have done this within their own enterprise, and we're looking for them to share their wisdom with all of us. I want to just mention that the Tech Council does over 100 events a year in both Phoenix and Tucson. You can find the details about all of our events on our website at aztechcouncil.org. I do want to mention a few upcoming events. On Tuesday, June 22nd, or I'm sorry, 21st, we will have our MedTech conference. This is our 6th annual conference. And if you're on this call today and are interested, I'm going to be offering you a $15 off registration. And the promo code for that is 15 off. So if you're interested in MedTech and are on this call today, please join us and use the code 15 off. On the 22nd, we have our Tech Inclusion Forum, which is a fireside chat with Max Chan, who's the CIO of Avnet, the largest tech company in Arizona. On the 24th of June, we have our Southern Arizona Women in the Workforce 2022 series. On July 7th, we have our Aerospace, Aviation, Defense, and Manufacturing Conference. And then on August 1st and 2nd, we have our annual CEO retreat. And that will be in Sedona this year. So if you are a CEO or an executive of your enterprise, or you want to get your CEO out of the office for a couple of days, you should tell them about the CEO retreat. I know Daryl asked earlier, but if everyone could please put your audio on mute. If you have a question during the event today, just please put it in chat or raise your digital hand and you'll be called upon to unmute yourself and you can ask your question directly. There will be a Q&A portion of the program at the end of the program. I want to thank the University of Advancing Technology for being our presenting sponsor for the Tech Speaker Series. They've been a sponsor for some time, and we really appreciate their support. And now, without further ado, I want to turn it over to our MC for today's event, Kathleen Barton with Kathleen Barton Consulting. She also happens to be the chairwoman of our Workforce Development and Education Committee. So, Kathleen, take it from here.
Great. Thank you, Steve. And thanks, everyone, for joining us this afternoon to learn more about high-tech apprenticeship. We have a really, really wonderful panel today that will provide you with a firsthand employer-to-employer perspective on their journey to apprenticeship and how they made it work and the things that they have learned along the way. You're going to hear about internal talent development and upskilling and reskilling, and you'll also hear about external talent development and adding new talent to the organizations. Any one of them could probably talk to you for the next hour about their programs. I've had a chance to talk with all of them, and I could have spent much more time with each and every one of them because they've got some great things to share. As Steve said, we'll have a discussion for about an hour and then do Q&As. So again, please put them in the chat, and we'll also have people come off mute. And then we'll also have Dr. Raghush Santanam, who leads the ASU AZ Next project. He'll make some remarks as we get to the close of our session today. I'm going to do some brief introductions of our panelists, and then I'll ask them to tell you a little bit more about themselves, about their companies, and how each of them were involved in getting their companies to yes when it comes to high-tech apprenticeship. So with that, I'm going to start with some brief introductions. And first, let me introduce Dr. Tina Drews, who is the Director of Talent Development for Salt River Project, otherwise known here fondly as SRP. Tina is the Director of Talent Development at Salt River Project, and she leads the Employee and Leadership Development, Skills Training and Apprenticeship, Mentoring, Education, and Talent Development Strategy work. She advocates for innovative workforce solutions and is passionate about embracing a growth mindset, lifelong learning, and advancement of our workforce. She has extensive experience in public and higher education and serves on numerous community boards and commissions, and is certainly a leader in innovative talent development strategies. So thank you, Tina, for being with us today. Next is Brandy Bowe, and she is the U.S. Apprenticeship Manager for IBM's New Collar Initiatives. She's joining us from North Carolina today, and so she's joining us well after work hours. Thank you, Brandy, on that. In her role, Brandy is helping IBM in the IT industry reorient the labor market and organizational talent models to be skills first. You probably have heard that before from IBM. She's focused on ensuring that hundreds of IBM apprentices across the country receive cutting-edge training and skills available. Prior to joining the apprenticeship team at IBM, Brandy held roles in policy and process, operations and compliance in the IBM talent organization. She's also passionate about creating equitable pathways to tech, ensuring that all communities have opportunities to upskill and do their best work ever. Brandy, thanks for joining us today, especially last minute, so thank you for that. Next is Nick Curry, who's the head of the Emerging Talent Pipeline for Amazon Web Services, or as most of us know it, AWS. The mission of the programs that Nick leads is to provide access and opportunity for more diverse candidates, including members of the military community, to in-demand technical careers. Since 2017, Nick has successfully built multiple programs, negotiated agreements with private businesses, government, and education institutions to facilitate the training, which is designed for outcomes including internship, apprenticeship, and direct employment across all of the technical job families throughout Amazon. To date, over 1,000 members of the military community have received job offers because of Nick's programs. Nick, thanks for joining us today. And last but not least is Dan Shelton, the Vice President of Applications Development for Total Quality Logistics. Dan is a technology leader with over 23 years of experience building and leading high-performing teams. Dan oversees the Total Quality Logistics Applications Development Team, which is responsible for digital transformation of the company. Prior to joining TQL, Dan was a technology leader with Fidelity Investments for over 21 years. Much of his experience was leading sales and marketing technology teams, specializing in Salesforce and other market and CRM platforms. His expertise is in driving the adoption of agile delivery methods, maximizing investments in partner platforms, shifting legacy applications to microservices, and ensuring delivery quality through software engineering processes, optimization, and automation. Dan, thank you for joining us today. Okay, so when I was talking with all of these applicants these panelists to begin with, I told them that we had spent some time talking with companies that we are working with here in Arizona as part of the Arizona State University Department of Labor AZ Next project. And we also did surveys to find out what our employers were thinking about apprenticeship, what questions or concerns they had, barriers and challenges, and really identified from that doing this kind of a session today, employer to employer, was one of the best ways to try to respond to those. So we've identified a couple of questions and topics that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to start with the first one, which also gives you an opportunity to share a little more about yourself and about the company. So I'm going to ask this of all of you, but Tina, I'm going to start with you and ask you what made SRP decide to try apprenticeship? What roles do you use apprenticeship in? And whether or not and all of the roles that you use apprenticeship in today.
Sure. Hi. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me today. So if you live in the Valley, you are probably aware of Salt River Project. So we are a quasi-governmental institution. We have two entities. One of those entities provides electricity to over 1 million customers, and the other side of the house delivers water to the cities in the Valley area. And so, we're over 100 years old, and are very familiar and with apprenticeship models for our field and craft employees. In fact, we just celebrated our 75th anniversary of our first apprenticeship at SRP. So our first registered apprenticeship. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And I'll tell you, we have 14 registered apprenticeships now at SRP. And those apprenticeships, 13 of them are field and craft apprenticeships. And we have one apprenticeship that recently came on board, which was our very first technology apprenticeship. And so, if you know anything also again about what's happening with coal generation in our country, is that many coal plants are closing. And so the owners of the coal generating station up in Page, Arizona, Navajo Generating Station, the owners had decided to sell that generating station. SRP was the operator. We had about 400 employees up at that location. And all of those employees were guaranteed a job at SRP. So we wanted to ensure that with the closure of that station, everyone would have a job. And we really thought about what were some of the innovative ways that we could take the talent, the SRP talent up from Page and upskill and reskill some of that talent. So we partnered with the Chamber Foundation and a group called Apprenti, and ended up bringing forward our very first tech apprenticeship. We took a look at our business needs first. That's really where this started. And SRP was having to contract out a lot of work in the IT business analyst realm. And so we found a great need for that type of talent within our organization, and decided to launch our first apprenticeship, taking employees that had the interest and the aptitude from Navajo Generating Station and put them through a 1-year apprenticeship program to prepare them to become IT business analysts. We started with 10 employees. We had 9 of them graduate, which is a significant, and we're very, very happy with that success rate of that. And I'm proud to say that today, those 9 employees are doing great in their jobs as IT business analysts. I'll be happy to go into more of, what that looked like and what it took going on, but that is our one of our proudest moments to date on taking and really looking at how do we take our internal talent and reskill them truly. These were plant operators and they are now IT business analysts, and it can be done through apprenticeship. So thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you, Tina. When we spoke, you also mentioned something about bringing these individuals who were working literally hundreds of miles away in the coal power generation facility and bringing them into the operations. And you shared that it actually provided an interesting perspective for the IT community that they became a part of. Do you want to share for just a minute on that?
Sure. That's one interesting thing is we often think about what is how is the apprentice going to supplement that workforce, right? Just by doing the IT work. But what we found was so interesting is that while they had mentors in IT, the knowledge that those folks brought from the plant on how does SRP actually make money, right? How do we sustain our business? How do we provide electricity to our customers? They were bringing a whole different perspective that honestly, I don't think anyone in that IT group had ever had before. So it was really beneficial for both, not only the apprentice, but then also for IT to feel so much more connected with the core of our business.
Thank you, Tina. Dan, I see you nodding, and I was going to go to you next because you had a similar situation. Would love for you to tell us a little bit about TQL and about your journey to apprenticeship.
Certainly. Thank you, Kathleen. So at TQL, we help our customers, who are companies of various sizes, get their freight moved. And as you probably have heard in the last couple of years, there's been quite a supply chain crunch in the United States and globally. So we provide solutions for our own internal teams to use to help our customers match their freight needs up with carriers willing to carry those products and get things delivered to the store shelves where they need to be consumed. So with that, we had hiring needs that were not incremental, but exponential. So we had to think outside the box and find ways to supplement our existing recruiting processes. So we've got a great active recruiting team, great relationships with local universities to find talent, a strong brand within the city here in Cincinnati and the other 26 states that we're in, but we still needed more. So we partnered with Apprenti as well, thought about leveraging an apprenticeship program, because one of the reasons why we saw some of our most effective IT engineers or support personnel are folks that just organically found their way working in IT. So they had that business experience, they had that knowledge in sales and service roles at TQL, and they were putting that to use within IT. So we really liked that model, and we wanted to try it and see if we could scale it. So we opened it up and did a recruiting process internally with incumbent workers, and found 10 folks that were willing to jump in and learn to be entry-level software engineers. And I would say it's not really entry-level, it's kind of mid-tier, mid-level software developers. And we're 10 for 10 as well. So our first batch of 10 is all 10 are happily working as part of their Scrum teams. And we're now in our second cohort, where we're completing the second cohort in the next month. And we'll have 2 classes completed in the last year and a half. And we're considering leveraging apprenticeship programs for mobile development. Right now, iOS and Android developers are hard to find, and we've got some pretty big needs there. So we're considering tapping into our talent pool, finding folks and putting together a boot camp to help with something, a mobile developer apprenticeship, and also data science and engineering, another hard to fill role for us. So we're looking at where we can apply this model in additional places based on the success that we've had so far.
I think you raise a really interesting point, and some of the questions that we've asked or heard from companies is that the thinking is that apprenticeship is only for the very most entry-level positions, and clearly that's not how you're thinking about it. Certainly an IT business analyst isn't the most entry-level job at SRP, and I think you can share some more about that, Brandy, as well. So why don't you tell us a little bit about IBM's journey to apprenticeship? Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for having me last minute, but hopefully I do Tommy well today. IBM kind of started on this journey a few years ago when our former CEO, Ginny Rometty, articulated changes that were happening in the US labor market. And that's how our new collar concept came to fruition. The old dichotomy of college degrees aligning to white collar positions and those without a college degree going to blue collar jobs no longer really reflected the reality of the occupations that we see in today's world. Technology and the digitization has infiltrated the way that everyone does work, and a large segment of jobs, especially in IT, really do not necessarily require a 4-year degree, but they do require some sort of post-secondary education, whether it's community colleges or continuing education, P-Tech programs, boot camp, self-study. This new segmentation of the labor market is where our concept really started. Since then, it's become a lot broader idea that reflects our larger goal to completely reorient the labor market and our organization's talent model to be skills first, as Kathleen said when we first started on this journey. To make the skills first movement come to life, simply put, we really look for dumb barriers that prevent skilled people from accessing opportunities and also disproportionately affect underrepresented communities in tech. From there, our team, we build new pathways that help to improve access to these opportunities. And we also set up wraparound support programs that help to enable the talent to succeed at our company. So one of the first barriers we confronted was the 4-year degree requirement for most entry-level technical jobs. The US has the highest average tuition rate in the world, and only a third of the working age population have a degree. We also recognize that curriculum in many of our 4-year institutions is not being adapted at the same rate as what technology is changing. So this resulted in IBM as an organization reviewing our degree requirements across all of our roles. And now 50% of our current openings across the US no longer require a 4-year degree. It also really helped us in creating our apprenticeship program, which focuses on providing a new entry point into IBM for individuals in the US. Our program is an earn and learn program. It is competency based. It is registered with the US Department of Labor. We registered our first role in October of 2017. It was software engineer. Since then, we've registered over 30 roles in various areas. So we have cybersecurity, we have UX design, we have data scientist. In fact, I think we worked closely with the Department of Labor, and data science is now seen as an apprenticeable role through the efforts that we've done. But we also focus on legacy roles that have continuing needs, like mainframe system administrators, Z application developers. Most of our roles are 12 to 24 months, just depending on the role itself. And I mentioned early on, our first cohort started in October of 2017, 7 individuals. And since then, we've hired almost 900 apprentices. So we scaled very quickly and very rapidly, which has been really exciting for us in our space.
Let me get myself off mute. You raise a really interesting point, Brendy, that we talked about, and I'm going to open it up for you to share just a little bit about that now, because you talked about the fact that you intentionally looked at jobs and looked at the skills required for those to determine what could be apprenticeable roles and what skills could be acquired in an alternative way. But you've also done something pretty interesting with the American Council on Education. Do you want to share that for a minute?
Yeah, absolutely. So last year, the American Council on Education ran an apprentice pathways initiative where they are reviewing apprenticeable roles and aligning them for course credit recommendations. So we were part of a pilot last year. They reviewed our software engineer role, and they found that they recommended it for 45 credit hours transferable to any 2 or 4-year university. Because of the success of that review, and we were so excited about it, and the benefit that it provides to our apprentices, we are now reviewing or trying to do at least 2 roles per quarter. Earlier this year, we done our mainframe system admin role, which was recommended for 45 credit hours, and our cybersecurity role was recommended for 48 credit hours. So this is really exciting because we know that a lot of the apprentices, they take that non-traditional route to education, whether it's because of personal reasons, financial reasons, or what have you. And with this, we're able to help set them up for success and potentially earn a degree. You know, ideally 45, 48 credit hours is about 75% of an associate's degree. So, you know, we're really excited to be able to provide that to our apprentices.
Thank you. That was just really exciting information when we talked about that. Thanks so much for sharing. Nick Curry, are you there? I can't see you on my screen.
I'm here. Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay. Well, last but not least, Nick, and I think you may take the record for the most significant number of apprentices, although IBM sounds like they are pretty close on that. If you would share with us the journey that AWS took to apprenticeship, I would appreciate that.
Sure, and thanks for having me. And I love hearing everyone else's company stories. It's so exciting. For those that are on the call that are in Arizona, I'm a native myself. My wife stole me and brought me up to Washington State because she didn't like living there. But I'm born and raised in Glendale, Arizona. Joined the Navy out of Arizona. So I am a proud Arizonian. And so I love to help out anytime I can. But for AWS, a concept at Amazon that is ingrained in all of us here is we work backwards from whatever our customers need. So we don't try to come up with things on our own. We try to listen to the voice of the customer feedback, and then we work backwards from if a customer needs X, then we have to do all these things before we can deliver that, and that's how we work it out. That's exactly why the apprenticeship program launched in Amazon. Our feedback from our customers, which were our hiring teams, when we brought first military candidates to them, this apprenticeship program for us started as a military training program. We got the same feedback from every single hiring manager. Literally every single hiring manager said, these are amazing people. They have great culture fits. They have strong leadership principles, which is critical at Amazon. They just don't have the tech skills that I need for them to be successful in the cloud. And if only there was a training program that could train them, we would hire every single one of them. So you probably heard that like 10 times before we started saying, maybe we should do something about this. So why don't we build a training program? So we started looking around and found the Department of Labor, and we sent one of our VPs out there, and she went out to the Department of Labor and said, we want to do this at Amazon. They said, great. And we registered ourselves first. We thought we could do everything ourselves here at Amazon. However, one of the other best things about Amazon is we like to fail fast at Amazon. So we failed fast on the admin side of the DOL piece, because that's a lot of work. For those of you that are doing it yourself, congratulations to you. We did not have the ability to hire more people at the time for our little pilot program. So we partnered with Apprenti as well, and happily have since 2017. But we started out with 3 programs. We started out with extremely entry level, which was our data center technicians, the people that work, build, maintain, and operate our data centers. So when you're at home watching Netflix with a glass of wine, you're actually using an AWS service because Netflix is one of our larger customers. We decided to do a support role. So we have a cloud support associate, which is basically IT support for the cloud customers. So if you have a question, you cut a ticket and we try to help you out there. And then we got really aggressive and we said we can train the most in-demand, complicated role at Amazon, which is software development engineer. We're going to do that. So those are our first 3 ones. We learned a lot from all 3. We still operate all 3. We've made significant changes and edited them and made some shorter, made some longer. But now we do 15 roles, and we've started all tech. For our first 12 are all technical roles. And then we've slowly pivoted into non-technical roles. So we have a recruiter apprenticeship, a business intelligence engineer, which is not technically a tech role at Amazon, and UX designer, and a marketing specialist. So we have now 15 tech and non-tech roles. We've been running cohorts consistently for SDEs. If you're like most of us out there, you need as many software developers as you can. That's our #1 program. We probably will hire 300 SDE apprentices across all of the Amazon job families. One of the other things that's unique about Amazon is it's a historically matrixed organization. It's flat, it's siloed. We do that on purpose to drive competition. However, our program, because it was so successful and because the candidates were so diverse, had such great cognitive diversity, it expanded very quickly outside of just AWS into all of Amazon. And so we're one of the only hiring programs that's ever hired for every single line of business in every company, including our subsidiaries, which is a pretty awesome opportunity. When you talk to someone about being an apprentice, you could work at Twitch, you could work at Audible, you could work at our pharmacy, you could work at Amazon Studios, you could work at AWS, or you could work in our operations team. The possibilities are limitless with us. And so it's been really great to see the growth and the continued use of apprenticeship at Amazon.
Great. Thank you so much, Nick. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate the fact that you're all of you are helping to dispel one of the myths about apprenticeship, that it's just for entry-level positions on this. So thanks for sharing that. We heard software development, data center, data analytics, cybersecurity, all of the areas that here in Arizona we've identified as top hot jobs to fill. And we've got a bunch of you already laying the groundwork for the work to be done here. So thank you for that. One of the biggest questions that people asked us or raised as an issue or a challenge was, how in the world do you take employees who are already crazy busy, they're working over 100%, and how do you ask them to mentor an apprentice? How can you possibly do that? They're already way too busy to do that. They'll lose productivity, etc. So you all have mentors for your apprentices, and I would love for you to talk about that. Dan, I'm going to go to you first on that. Could you share a little bit about how TQL approaches the mentoring responsibility?
Certainly. So one thing that we're lucky and blessed that mentorships are a big part of our culture here at TQL. So before the apprenticeship came to light, everyone has assigned mentors, and we have training for our mentorships and mentors and mentees. We have really clear expectations. So really, we weren't asking anyone to do anything they weren't already prepared to do, trained to do, and doing as well. We just expanded the pool of folks and gave really more opportunities to people to be those mentors. And I will say that's one of the biggest success factors we had was that we assigned the mentors very early. And we were also blessed with a large number of boot camp graduates. So we had folks pre-apprenticeship that came through us through a boot camp. So a lot of those folks were the first to raise their hand and volunteer to be mentors. So we assigned them early. They came in and come in now in our second cohort boot camp and provide their on-the-job experiences. The instructor that for the organization Max Technical Training here in Cincinnati that we used to conduct our boot camps, the instructor knows many of them, and because many of them came through Max Technical prior to their employment at TQL as part of their regular boot camp process. So all of that kind of made it a lot easier than it sounds. We had that natural kind of tailwind to enable us to assign those mentors, and the mentors were there, first one to volunteer to do it, and we've seen that be very successful. We actually had a happy hour in this room last night for the current cohort, and we invited all the previous boot campers from the first cohort of the apprenticeship, as well as some that were through there. And many of them were in here, and they're all mixing. It's kind of an alumni network that's kind of formed, and it wasn't intentional. It just has happened that way.
Thank you for sharing that. And we could have mentioned this in the previous question, Nick, but you also shared a little bit about the fact that this is obviously internal upskilling and development. You're taking folks from administrative roles, completely non-technical, into this. You're also doing something about pulling folks from some of your other locations. Do you want to share that for just a second?
Was that for me?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I say Nick? I meant Dan. Sorry about that. Yeah, you mentioned bringing in people from some of your other locations. Can you talk just a little bit about that?
That's right. So we have our IT organization is split primarily in headquarters in Cincinnati, but we have folks in Tampa, and we also have folks in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we have applicants. When we opened up the pool, we had applicants, over 60 applicants for the first class. We accepted 10 of them. Many of them were from a variety of locations. They came to Cincinnati for the boot camp, for the training, stayed in temporary housing, and many of them stayed here at headquarters, but some went back to Tampa. Some are going to go in the second cohort to Charlotte. So we brought everybody here in headquarters so they could experience what headquarters was like. We conducted the training on site so we could come in and out of the classroom and interact with them and mingle and participate in those happy hours and other events. We had a hackathon that we invited the apprentices to participate on. So they each were on different teams. Well, we cover a lot of sites here at TQL, a lot of locations. We work very well virtually, but I think our experience, the experience for the apprentices was enhanced by coming together at headquarters and then going back to their respective locations when it was over.
Thanks for sharing that. Nick, now I will go to you. Can you talk a little bit about how Amazon, as busy as it is able to assign kind of mentoring roles for your apprentices?
Yeah, I think we take a similar approach as TQL, actually. I feel that we provide our apprenticeship managers with more training about hiring an apprentice and what it means to have a new hire that comes to the apprenticeship than you get when you have a regular, industry hire or a campus hire. Because we know that it's a little bit different. It's a unique thing. Even Amazon's been here for 5 years, but people still are new to apprenticeship, so they have to be coached and trained. We host an in-person manager and mentor orientation before apprentices start. We also refresh their memory on day one as well. And then we have a dedicated team. So my whole team is here to support all of the apprentices across all of Amazon. We host office hours. We have all of our information up on our wikis. So it's not like you have to hire an apprentice and then figure it out yourself. We have an entire support team that makes sure that apprentices are successful. And since we've had so many come through, very similar to what TQL does as well, we have a Slack community and in-person community, and every, especially in the military community, people like to have shared experiences. So no one likes to feel like the only. So we try to match up our mentors with past apprentices so they have that shared experience. So it makes it an easier transition for them as well.
Sure, that sounds kind of like what Dan was talking about too, that you start to build that people coming through the program feel like they know it and they're ready to also give back. So that sounds great. Brandy, what about IBM? You've taken on a significant number of apprentices. You certainly are aggressive in what the responsibilities are for individuals in their day jobs. How are they able to handle the additional responsibility of mentoring at IBM?
Yeah, very similar to what both Dan and Nick said. I could echo it and just say that's it. But I will say mentors are really mission critical to the success of apprentices. Like Dan said, we at IBM also have an amazing culture that supports and cultivates mentors. So that definitely helps us with sort of driving that, mentality. Same with Nick. We also make sure that the mentors have training and the managers have training before the apprentices start. This is really important because it really helps them to understand what does it mean to mentor an apprentice, because even that experience is slightly different, right, than the mentorship experience. But it's also so that they understand the time investment that's required, and to make sure that they realize it's not always a one-on-one, I'm sitting down with you, let's talk about this. A lot of that time spent mentoring happens naturally through day-to-day questions, the job shadowing opportunities, the project work that they collaborate on, and things like that. So a lot of that mentorship, even though at IBM we estimate it to be about 10 hours a week, it fluctuates depending on where the apprentice is in their experience. And it also really varies on what the apprentice is working on with the mentor. So it's not always sitting down for an hour to have a conversation. Similar to Nick too, we also have a dedicated program team, me, that helps to provide wraparound support. So we host office hours for the apprentices at strategic points in the program. We have Slack channels for them. And I always tell them I'm available for whatever questions that they have. And then I think the other really cool thing that we've seen that both Nick and Dan touched on is we have apprentice grads who are now coming back into the program because their organizations are hiring more apprentices, and now they're acting as mentors. So they are the best mentors, in my opinion, because not only do they have the mentor experience, but they also have that apprenticeship experience that they can build on and really help the apprentice navigate what that looks like for them.
Great. Tina, I'm going to go to you next. And you had an interesting, when we were talking about that, an interesting perspective, because in your case, we had the decommissioning of a coal power generation plant and SRP's commitment to offering individuals jobs. Talk a little bit about how you engaged the mentors. Also talk about how you were able to give people with regular full-time jobs the additional responsibility of mentoring.
Yeah, well, so it was a little bit of an easier sell, I think, for our folks, because there was this greater issue that those mentors were able to step up and step into really helping our apprentices through this transition. So SRP is a very supportive environment. It was incredibly difficult for our organization when that plant went through decommissioning. And so as soon as the opportunity came forward, we actually had more people wanting to participate than we even had apprentices. So, the other piece of it though, and I think what sustains this for the future is how those folks were recognized and rewarded. We really highlighted the work not only of the apprentices, but the extreme value that those mentors were to the program, it can't be done without them. And so executive recognition and stories in our, employee newsletters and things like that, it's really just elevating that role of mentor. And then, for folks as they want to continue in their own careers of saying, I participated in this program, I gave back in this way, this is what I learned from the experience. That's the kind of on-the-job experience that really prepares people to move into leadership and to have greater mobility. So it's a win-win from my perspective and from our employees' perspective.
Thanks for sharing that. And there was a question in the chat that Nick answered about whether you paid the individuals more than their normal salary to do this. And I think that from all of the conversations is that no, this was an expectation. They were rewarded and recognized, whether it was in events or in a performance review, and they knew that this was something that was important to the company, that they were needed to do this, and that gave a sense of responsibility, ownership to do things. So Nick, thanks for responding in the chat on that, and thank you to all of you for talking about the importance of setting it as kind of a company-wide expectation and rewarding and recognizing. The next question I want to ask you about that really has to do, I think, with part of this as well, and that's the time to productivity and the ROI. I think there's an assumption that this is a very heavy burden on the people who are mentors, that they're not as productive as they are, and maybe even a little bit of a misconception. Brandy, this goes maybe back to your point too, that it's not like the apprentice is sitting by the mentor side and watching for the period of the apprenticeship. Some of you have talked about, when they got assigned to projects and things like that. So let me go ahead and start with you, Dan, on this one. Talk a little bit about the time to productivity, return on investment, and how a busy company, I think you described yourself as a company that was a logistics, supply chain logistics company in the middle of a crisis time, and yet you're adopting a new way to develop talent. So talk a little bit about the time to productivity and return on investment, if you would.
Sure. So I will say that, first of all, I was extremely impressed with how quickly our apprentices came up to speed and started adding value to their teams. I think it was driven by a couple of different factors. The first being the fact that we're a Scrum shop, as I'm sure many are. And so it's a team-based environment. So there's a lot of support. There's servant leaders helping serve the team, making sure that people aren't just thrown into the deep end of the pool and expected to figure it out. That's not our culture. So folks were well supported. Secondly, I believe a big success factor was that they were well placed. So we took folks and matched them up with teams that worked on the applications that they were once users of. So we took, a billing and accounting or a billing and payments analyst and put them on the billing and payments Scrum team so that they could immediately start to add value to their team because they were power users and they knew the applications that they were expected to contribute to. And they were preparing for that the entire apprenticeship by already looking at the code, having access to the code, having a mentor that was in that space that could help them so that when they hit the ground running and were well supported. It wasn't perfect. So of our 10 graduates in the first round, we had a couple that were a little slower to start and needed some additional help. And a couple of things we did was we moved some folks. We thought that person XYZ, based on their interest and their background and their experience, would be a great fit for this team. But we found out through a couple of sprints that that's probably not the right team for them based on their skills and what their passions were, and we moved them. So a couple of stumbles. We failed fast as well and made some adjustments, but all in all, it was really impressed with how fast some folks came up to speed. Interestingly enough, one of our apprentices from the first class that just graduated 1 year ago, has been on the job 1 year, is the lead for the team leading our most mission critical, highly used application in the company. So the team lead is one of the former apprentices from just a year ago that had no formal education in IT, that just had a history of investing in himself, training himself, taking advantage of opportunities, had the will to succeed in this role. We gave him the skills through the boot camp and the mentorship, and we've seen that person particularly take off and was kind of the star of the boot camp for that first round, and has continued to advance on a pretty high trajectory. So it's a great success story.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. And I think this is true for all of you. I mean, when they are starting their on-the-job training, they're working on real projects. And someone said to me, might have been Tommy, who's not with us today, you have to hold the hands for a while, and then you watch them bloom. And I think someone else said they become an extra set of hands, and everybody's productivity increases. So I think I think the thinking that they are literally sitting by someone's side and learning for 9 to 12 months, and then they start to do work is a little bit of a misconception. Nick, go ahead and talk to us a little bit about the time to productivity and the return on investment and your experience with that at AWS.
Well, so you said two things that are conflicting for most people at Amazon, right? Time to productivity means that there's a gap between when someone can hands-on keyboard and be 100% productive, and then investment. And so this is the tricky thing that you have to talk to your business leaders about, and this is what we talk about all the time. I know, I think it was Tina that used the word supplement. I use that word all the time. It is the magic word whenever I talk about apprenticeship. I am not saying that my programs will replace your campus programs or your industry hiring programs. That is not what I'm saying at all. I am supplementing your hiring, but you're going to invest in that. It's an investment. You don't put your money in the bank. Well, you used to not just put your money in the bank instead of your mattress, but you put your money in the bank for a reason, because you want it to grow and do great things in the future. That's the same thing with apprentices. And so you have to have a little bit of a long-term play here. You have to, one of our leadership principles is ownership at Amazon. And in the description, the ownership word for word description is leaders think long-term at Amazon. So we don't want people that don't want apprentices right out of the gate. And they say, oh, they're not productive, I don't want them. Well, great, you're not really my target audience, and you're not really Amazonian. If you have that kind of mental model, we want you to think long-term. We want you to think about investment. And we do tell them right up front, we are very clear. It is in the, basically the apprenticeship manual. When you say you want to host an apprentice, one of the first emails we write back is, your apprentice will be in two parts of a training program. Instructor-led training for a software developer, it's 18 weeks. They won't even be in your building. They're going to be virtual students, but you're paying for them. That's one of the things that we do to make sure that we have a very diverse subset of candidates, is we remove all these barriers to entry, but we pay our apprentices. So it's a hire and then train. So for 18 weeks, you're not going to have a lick of productivity. You're not going to write a single line of code for you for 18 weeks. And then, oh, by the way, when they get into the second phase, OJT, on the job training, they're going to ramp up. And so they're going to be even less productive for at least a month or two, but they will eventually get there. And guess what? It's a payoff. We have all this data and research that we've conducted over the last 5 years that says an apprentice compared to an industry hire or compared to a college hire promotes at the same exact timeline. They stay as long as those. They have the best performance reviews compared to everyone else. There's no difference really. There's a few things that are outliers, like they actually promote a little bit faster because apprentices have this insatiable appetite to learn. They're self-taught, like Dan was saying, take care of themselves, teach themselves. So there's trade-offs, but the long-term value is there. Now, what we've also done is, I told you about working backwards. We have monthly cohorts. So we basically tell hiring managers, when they say we want an apprentice, we say, great, your apprentice will be ready for you in January of 2023, March of 2023. That way they don't even think about what's going on behind the scenes. We talk about the duck on the water analogy. We want the business just to see the smooth, beautiful mallard swim by, and underneath is all this nonsense going on. That's all the training. They're not going to see that. They're going to get a fully productive apprentice when they're out of all the training. And that's the way we've kind of flipped the narrative, so people understand they're going to get someone that's going to invest in it. They're going to be productive at the end. And then every time you start putting money in the apprenticeship program, it's a wheel that never stops spinning, because you always will be cranking out 20 to 25 fully productive apprentices after the program is done every single month. And that's the way we've kind of overcome that at Amazon.
Thanks, Nick. I think some of that probably resonates with you as well, Brandy. Do you want to talk a little bit about the thinking about productivity, whether there's a loss from mentors mentoring, return on investment? And you have a couple of interesting kind of metrics of success to share, since you've had a couple of years with this program. So maybe you want to share some of that too.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when our apprentices join, they join the teams from day one. So they are fully integrated in their working teams. And I tell the apprentices, your job here is to learn. And you're going to learn through related technical instruction that we have curated and on the job training. At IBM, we often use this analogy of 80-20. So I tell the managers and mentors when they're joining, when your apprentices first join, they're probably going to spend 80% of their time doing that learning and 20% of the time doing productive work, and probably not a lot of contribution. It may just be joining team calls, participating in Ask Me Anything, or things like that, but they're still getting sort of those nuggets of knowledge, even in those moments very early on. But as they get that foundation knowledge that they need from the related technical instruction, that number starts to flip. So they start on the back end of their journey, they start doing maybe 20% of that learning, but 80% productive work as they're approaching the end of their apprenticeship program. And we've seen a lot of success with that. We've also found that the apprentices are less likely to attrit and they're oftentimes more engaged. The other exciting thing that we see is that the apprentices are bringing a fresh new perspective and energies to teams. So it's almost like these teams that maybe have been a little mundane or stuck for a little while, all of a sudden they have this new energy because they have this fresh perspective. Because I think it was Nick who said the hunger for learning and the desire to succeed, that's two of the like attributes that we look for when we're recruiting apprentices. And so because of that, it's almost like they almost give a little kick to the teams, and then they start, you know, bringing this new energy and this new perspective, which is super exciting. The other thing that we've seen that has really helped is, you know, we've gone through this pretty quickly and scaled, you know, with the 800 plus apprentices. But what we've seen within our organization is that more than 90% of our apprentice graduates are converted into full-time regular IBMers. So I think that speaks a lot to our program and the success of our program, that the managers and the organizations want to continue to employ and keep those individuals on board after they finish the program. I will put a little caveat out there that 90% isn't just us not wanting them. Sometimes they decide personal reasons to leave too. So it's not just us not being able to keep them. Sometimes, you know, due to personal reasons, they move on to different opportunities as well.
That's great. Thanks so much for sharing that. And Tina, what would you like to share about the journey that you had with that and productivity, ROI?
Yeah, I would say for us, you know, the heaviest lift is in the beginning. And that's for any program, right? That you're going to stand up. It is a heavier lift in that. But really, I think the most important piece is setting clear expectations for your apprentices and the mentors. And when everyone is clear on what the expectations are, they know what they need to deliver. And without those expectations, that's where you tend to run into problems. And that's why I think panels like this and hearing from other industry partners. You know, I remember hearing from Nick at a conference, gosh, it was probably 5 years ago now, but following up with him, and he answered my emails. And you know, the nice thing about apprenticeship is it's kind of its own little community, and we are all passionate about it, and we're all very willing to help. And so, you know, I think that with that, with others that may be considering it, is really to think about who are those folks that I can reach out to and get their perspectives. So I'll stop at that one.
Great. Thank you so much on that.
Yeah.
So a couple of you have mentioned along the way in the conversation some things that didn't work quite right the first time. And some of you have mentioned some of the things that were really important. I actually want to focus for the next little bit of time on those two things. The things that were key elements that helped your program be successful, and then some key learnings, maybe some things that didn't work out so well, and how you've adjusted along the way so that our employers who are here today can learn from the things that worked really well and perhaps avoid or learn from the things that you made some modifications on. So let me go ahead and start, Brandy, with you on that one.
Yeah, Kathleen, I think I shared the analogy with you that we're building this plane as we're flying. I haven't lost a wing yet. I'm still in the air, so we're doing good. But I will say we constantly iterate on our program, right? When we first rolled it out with the 7, it was a very manual process. Our managers were signing Word documents documenting completion of competencies, right? That was not sustainable as we scaled. And so we were able to work with some of our internal developers to create a database now. It's not where it needs to be. It serves its purpose for now, but those are areas where we really try to focus on to make the user experience better. One of the really important things that I think has really helped us in our program is that we do NPS often, so that we can hear that feedback from the apprentices. And I really try to keep an open line of communication to all of our participants, the apprentices, the managers, and the mentors. And I want them to tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I even say to them when they're in the program and multiple times, we're only able to iterate on the program and make it better based on what we're hearing from them, because they're technically the experts. And so one of the areas that we've learned about too, so the database was one and tracking completion was one. And then the other one is learning. So our learning is in-house. We do use some third-party vendors for our learning, but it was hard for us to keep up with sort of broken links and the learning changing and what was most relevant, what was most exciting. And so that's where we really try to do like roundtables with subject matter experts, the apprentices, alum, mentors, and really get their feedback on what learning was exciting for them. What would they like to do? And so therefore we have created various learning paths to help them along that journey. And it's really honestly based on what we've heard from them and what they want to receive. And I think that's really helped us make the program as successful as we've been able to from an experience perspective.
Thanks, Brandy. Dan, what about you and TQL? Things that were critical to the success and also any issues you had along the way?
Sure. So from a critical to the success program, in addition to the fact we already mentioned mentors, we talked about how critical they were. But another key area for us was we didn't open this up to every single person in the company. We did, but we required them to have a proven track record, to be strong performers. So you had to be an employee in good standing for a certain period of time, with a strong recommendation from your manager. You had to invest the time to take a lengthy assessment. That was pretty intense. And then there was several rounds of interviews. So folks had to earn their way into the cohort. And you could tell who was really committed and was willing to do whatever it takes to be successful as they went through that process, and who just raised their hand because they thought it might be fun. And so we were able to kind of weed out the folks that raised their hand and thought, well, I built a website once 10 years ago, so I think this might be fun. We kind of were able to make smart choices about folks that were dedicated to it by that, I'll call it a more rigorous selection process. That was a big success factor. From what could have gone better, things we had to learn to pivot, we made a few tweaks to the training curriculum based on feedback from the first cohort for the second cohort, added a few things, took a few things down. We also, I mentioned, we struggled a bit with some of our placements at first. We course corrected quickly and realigned folks to new teams that they were a better fit for. And then third was, and we're still working through this, is the onboarding experiences for the apprentices once they join their team being tailored and consistent. So consistent in terms of the activities and tailored to the technology, the business domains, the functions that they were providing for their team. So those are some of the tweaks that we made to improve for the next round.
Great. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. You also had an interesting story about a brother of one of your employees who got a job at TQL just to be able to participate and apply for the apprenticeship program. Yeah.
Yep, that's right. So several folks in the second round said, well, how did you learn to come to TQL? Some of it was like, oh, I heard about this apprenticeship program from my brother who works here. I've always wanted to get an IT, don't have access to the education or a job that would provide that. So specifically targeted TQL to come on board just for the opportunity to compete for a spot on the apprenticeship program.
Thank you. Tina, I know you had to go off camera. Are you still with us verbally or not?
I am. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep, that's great. I thought we might have a little more time with you. So what about you and SRP? Things that were critical, you think, to the success of the cohort that you had, and maybe any issues along the way that you needed to address?
Yeah, I'll share for me, and certainly would reiterate what some of my colleagues have shared. But for us, it was both a challenge and a success that we got it done. But that was really around the education partners. So for us, we had employees that were living in Page, Arizona, and we worked really closely with a consortium of education institutions in the northern half of the state. And that, I will say, that was not easy. It took a lot of work, but in the end, we did it. So that was both a challenge and I think a success in the end. But I would say sometimes with apprenticeships, you have to have that really strong education partner. And I think that's part of what excites me about what I see going on with AZ Next is ASU as that education partner. And I'm not saying this just because I am a devil. I am, but but ASU has such a strong number of programs in so many different areas that it really does provide that educational support that I think that companies are going to need. We also partner really closely with our community college district, especially in our field and craft apprenticeships, but they also are a really great avenue for collaboration.
Thanks, Tina. Nick, what about Amazon? Things that were critical to the success of the program, and any things that were challenging that you had to address?
I think the biggest indicator of success for us was that, and I say this as a retired Navy sailor myself, is that we started the program with veterans. I think all of the descriptions that Brandy mentioned about an apprentice is 100% right. I think it's just at a different level when you have someone from the military community, and that includes military spouses as well. The level of commitment and the professional maturity is just something that you don't get a lot of when you have an apprentice. Usually an apprentice is someone that's early in career or career pivoter, lots of different reasons, but they don't have a lot of professional maturity. And that was one of the things that our hiring managers really loved about the program. They were willing to, kind of overlook the tech gaps because these people showed up on time. Like they just showed up to work and they were there when they said they were going to, and they worked hard and they didn't run into a problem and stop and immediately throw up their hands. They just kind of continued going through. So that was an early indicator of success. And because of that success, we proved the concept that there are other people like that out there in the world, we promise. So we have, obviously expanded our apprenticeships to as many people as we can, and now to our internal employees as well that want to use apprenticeship to upskill. I think one of the failures we had, honestly, was, we over-indexed on one of our other leadership principles at Amazon, customer obsession. We were taking apprenticeships for you want an apprenticeship? Sweet. You want an apprenticeship? Like we were collecting them like Pokemon cards. And that was not smart, because we took on two roles that we probably should have never brought on, because we didn't ask the right questions. We didn't dive deep enough. We didn't get to the real need of why they wanted apprentices. And they were not good fits. They were not roles that should have been an apprenticeable category. They were way too technical. They needed way too much experience. They also needed two different types of job functions together. So should have never done that, because apprentices really need to focus on one core function, not necessarily two or three different types of programming languages and system design. So accept the enthusiasm that you're going to get when you have an apprentice on your team. That's great, but use that enthusiasm intentionally to build out and scale out your programs that work, and then over time look to expand to other things that you have the time and the ability to invest into.
Great, thanks. You know, I've been monitoring the chat and I think people have answered questions along the way. So I'm going to ask one last question, then I'll open it up in case there's any others, and then we'll go to Raghu Santanam. You all have companies that are of reasonable size and have done cohorts, good size cohorts. Two questions. One would be, what would you say to companies that are going to start and, you know, put their toe in the water with maybe 3 or 4 or 2 to 4 apprentices? They're going to try it out and see. What would be the most important thing you would share with them? And then wrap into that if there's anything else that you want to share before we go into Q&A and go to Raghu. So Tina, I'm going to start with you because I know we might lose you in a couple of minutes.
All right, thank you, Kathleen. So I would say that probably my number one recommendation would be to talk to peers to find out what works, what doesn't work, and really take some time to investigate those other programs. We were fortunate and had a model already in place, and we took what we could from that model, but there were other areas that we were going to need to have some advising in. And speaking with those industry partners was critical. So, and I guess my number one piece is, I can't help but reiterate what Nick just said about not biting off more than you can chew. Apprenticeship is really exciting, and it is an awesome opportunity. And I recommend starting small, getting some experience under your belt, and there's always the opportunity to grow it, because I can promise you that once you embark on apprenticeship, you're not going to turn back. So that's my advice.
That's great, Tina. Thank you. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Brandy, how about from an IBM perspective?
I agree with everything Tina just said. And I probably could not even articulate that even better. I will say the really cool thing about apprenticeship is you have an opportunity to tap into talent that's really hungry a lot of the times, right? And you're able to cast a wide net. So like in our program, we have folks that are from 18 to 60 plus years old, right? Our diversity rate is above 50% in our program. They come from all different backgrounds. We have veterans, nurses, teachers, dairy farmers, baristas. One of our most successful apprentices was a barista at the Starbucks in IBM for 10 years. And through his network, he got into the program, and now he's a successful software developer. I definitely think it's important. Build out your network, reach out to other apprenticeship programs, whether they're small, whether they're big. I learned so much in even these conversations, and tips and tricks and best practices. And you're like, oh, why didn't we think of that? But it's really good to kind of expand that network, and definitely be intentional. I think Nick said it really well, is make sure that you're focusing on what the real need is, and not just, casting out, hey, do you want to apprentice? You want to apprentice? Really focus and be intentional about it. The other thing we often say at IBM is our new color programs, it's not charity work, right? It's really about focusing on delivering a differentiated workforce by focusing on skills and hiring that talent that's often overlooked or wrongly excluded from these opportunities, right? So we know that hiring the talent doesn't compromise high standards that we have for our employees. And in fact, and I think Nick said it, or maybe it was Dan, we found that on our cognitive ability assessments during the interview process, there's no meaningful difference between the scores of bachelor's candidates and the talent that we're hiring. We've also found, same as I think Nick said, that our new collar talent and our apprentices are more likely to exceed expectations in the skills dimension on our annual performance assessments. So, we're not compromising our workforce. We're simply broadening the scope to provide opportunities to skilled individuals that come through non-traditional backgrounds.
Perfect. Dan, how about you?
Sure. So if you're starting small, I think it's a great idea to start small, to attempt the program, find partners, that can help. Don't reinvent the wheel. So for us, it was a training partner to help provide us. It was a registered apprenticeship program through Apprenti. The assessment that they had, leverage what's out there. Don't necessarily try to reinvent the wheel. That would be some advice. And two, finally, one thing I would share that I learned from this experience over the last couple of years that I was not expecting. It's personally and selfishly extremely rewarding being a part of this program and changing lives. So I think we've changed the trajectory, in our case, of 25 folks, their career trajectory, their life trajectory. They were winners. They're still winners. Winners win. We just gave them a different playing field to participate on. That changed their lives. So it's been extremely personally rewarding to be a part of the program.
Perfect. Just love it. Go ahead, Nick. Nick.
Yeah, I'm going to echo what Dan just said. If you start small, that's great, and you want to go with a partner. A lot of the times when you meet with training providers, they're going to have like a minimum class size, and they're going to want you to do like 15 to 20 if you're using a third party. Well, you maybe can't invest in 15 to 20 on day one, and that's okay. But there's plenty of people on this call that might have similar jobs that could be apprenticeable jobs, and you could do it together. Coalition of the Willings are very fun. By the way, if any of you are AWS customers, we also have space in my program. So if you're a customer of ours, let me know. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that. But it's great to go together. You don't have to start with a full cohort of 25 to 50. Like that's just not needed. But it's important to get off the ground and do it. There's plenty of roles out there. I was amazed to hear how many IBM has. That's amazing. So there's definitely a role in your company that you can get an apprenticeable job for, and it's a great experience. You should definitely do it.
Thank you all. You have just been wonderful for this. We do have some time for Q&A, although I have been monitoring the chat, and I think we have real time answered the questions that are in there, but let me ask before we go to Dr. Raghusantanam, if anybody has a question and wants to come off mic or put it in the chat. Come off mute, rather. Okay. Well, we hoped we had done a good job with the questions that we set up for the panelists to answer the things that you were most interested in. And thanks to those of you who did put questions in, and for those of you on the panel who answered that. I appreciate that very much. The next part of our agenda, we are going to turn over for the next few minutes to Dr. Raghusantanam, who is the lead PI on the two ASU Department of Labor grants, and in particular, the first one that we received that is focusing on high-tech apprenticeship. So Raghu, welcome and thank you, and the floor is yours.
Thanks, Kathleen. And first of all, thank you to the panel members. This was a very, very insightful conversation. I learned a lot. I've taken a lot of notes. And thank you for doing this. This is an extremely important initiative, one that is highly needed in the tech area. And I'm in a university, I've been a professor for more than 20 years, but I agree with you that there's a lot of jobs where we have unnecessarily put a degree requirement that we need to get out of, right? So I think apprenticeships are a great way to do this. And this is where we partnered with the Arizona Tech Council on these Department of Labor grants to build tech apprenticeships and to bring that into a university system. And for you to be a part of the AZ Next apprenticeships, you don't have to be an ASU student. A high school graduation is sufficient. You have to be over 17 years. And we've been working with a number of employer partners, and we put together advisory boards. And by the way, our focus is on IT industry and advanced manufacturing. So IT jobs and advanced manufacturing jobs, both critical to Arizona economy. A few things that we are doing, in terms of apprenticeships, we've worked with a number of employers on software developer roles. That's something that came up today. IT analysts. So this is a role that seems to be quite, in demand with lots of our employer partners. One interesting one that we have built recently is software testing. So there's a lot of interest where, a company that's doing a lot of these application development needs that testing support. So they are interested in training the students in terms of going through this, the learners going through the testing process but that's a gateway into being a software developer. So that's another way for them to think about. What we have, as you said, so you are the pioneers. You've been doing this, the members on the panel, but there's a lot of skeptics, right? And how do we bring them along? And we've been working on a number of innovations on making that happen. So one is that, of course, there is the registered apprenticeship that comes from the trade model that has existed for over 100 years. We are also introducing what we call unregistered apprenticeship models, where we reduce the time that is required for you to get that apprenticeship credential. It still has that related training component. It's an approved unregistered model from the Department of Labor that ASU can run under the AZ Next program. And where we see it being very helpful is, if you're trying to hire an undergraduate student that's already in the university, right? But maybe he or she is a freshman or a sophomore and wants to get a quick training and get placed. But we are seeing demand both from the registered and on the unregistered side. Another innovation we have tried is, we're going to try, is a front-loaded apprenticeship model. That is, we first provide the training, but we have employer partners signed on to those types of apprenticeships that we're building. So one is a IT project coordinator that we will run. We brought in the Google IT support certificate into the ASU platform. So we have an online learning platform where now students can do the Google IT support certificate. The certificate can be done with no upfront fee for any AZ Next participant. At the end of completing the certification, if the student is happy with the grade they received, they can convert it to credit in the university. It's under our Universal Learner platform. And the tuition for that credit conversion is a fraction of our regular tuition. So again, it aligns with ASU's access and inclusion mission. And we started with the Google IT support certificate. Nick, we are working on getting AWS cloud credentials into that same platform. We also struck an agreement with Salesforce. So now we are a Salesforce authorized training provider. So we are running cohorts of Salesforce developer roles. And that can be a great apprenticeship model as well. And by the way, all of these trainings we're providing for free under the Department of Labor grant. So the way I look at it is these are pilots. We demonstrate the value to the employer partners under the grant terms. But eventually this becomes a self-sustaining model where we are able to, convince the employer partners that, hey, this is something that is of value to you and you can pay for it. And it returns, right? Just like what you have seen on the panel in terms of the returns from the apprenticeship programs. The final one that I want to talk about is that, as you said, so one is, of course, that entry-level position, but there are lots of mid-tier positions. But there is also a desire among those that enter the IT profession to grow in their career. And perhaps that growth in that career does need to happen through a college degree. But how do we combine working and learning in our college degrees? How do we make that happen, right? So this is where we now have built a specific degree program in the WP Carey School called Applied Business and Technology Solutions. It's a bachelor's degree, but it is designed from the start to accommodate apprenticeships. So this we are going to launch very soon. And the way it is structured is that it allows for stackable credentials. So one of the key use cases we have shown in that in terms of getting internal approvals is the Google IT support certificate. But that's something that you can take out, put, say, AWS cloud credentials or Salesforce credentials or something along those lines that are really job relevant, something that the student, the learner is doing at their workplace. But there is also that reflective learning from the work that they are doing that should qualify for credit. So Brandy, I'm really interested in knowing how this was done with IBM's ACE credentials. That's something that we want to integrate into this kind of a program. So certainly welcome the opportunity to talk to you about how you were able to do this. But again, all of this can only be done with the coalition of willing, as you said, right? So we need employer partners, and then there's a number of instances where you have 1 or 2 or 3 apprentices. But when we combine, it makes it easier for us to provide that related training, and that benefits the employers, right? So the more we can partner, the bigger the returns are for Arizona economy and nationally. So by the way, ours is a national program. All of our training is online, so which enables us to serve employers from across the country.
Raghu, thank you so very much. Appreciate all of those comments, and we will be doing a follow-up with attendees and those who registered who weren't able to attend today to share how they can get more information on the ASU AZ Next project. Steve, before I turn it back over to you, I did want to personally thank everyone who joined us today. I want to especially thank our panelists, not only for the time today, but spending a little time in prep with me prior to that. I want to particularly thank Brandy, who literally came in about 3 hours before the session today when her partner at IBM was not able to join us. It's also 8 o'clock at night where she is, so thank you very, very much for doing that. I also want to quickly thank the Washington Tech Industry Association and Apprenti, which is one of the largest Department of Labor high-tech apprenticeship programs, and thank them for their help in making sure that we had some wonderful partners, including TQL and Amazon with us today to share about new talent, internal talent, and upscaling. So I wanted to thank everyone very much for that. And Steve, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, well, I'm going to do much the same. First, I want to thank you for facilitating this discussion today. I thought it was extraordinary and important. I want to thank the panelists who were incredible in sharing their expertise and their experience in running apprenticeship programs. I want to thank Jennifer and WTIA for helping us find 2 of the panelists today. I want to thank Raghu for being an ongoing partner and collaborator and trying to develop this next generation of talent for the tech and manufacturing industry here in Arizona. And I want to thank the staff for all their hard work in promoting the event and bringing it together. So thank you all for being here today. We did get a video of the event today. We can share that both with those that have attended and couldn't attend today, along with additional information about AZ Next. And I want to thank you all and have a wonderful evening and a great rest of your week. Thank you. Oh, and don't forget about the 15 off for the MedTech conference. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Steve.